Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, Candy Goes to Hollywood from 1979. This is the sequel of The Erotic Adventures of Candy from 1978, which I've already reviewed on this YouTube page. And this film was also directed, produced, and written by Gail Palmer, who also did the original one. Yes, a woman who is in full control, full charge of this awesome X-rated adult film here from 1979. Again, in the lead, of course, we have Carol Connors. That's her right there. That is, just for some point of reference, that is the mother of Thora Birch, an actress from films such as Ghost World, which is seeing a Criterion release very soon, as well as American Beauty. There it is, Gail Palmer's Candy Goes to Hollywood, 1979. And we even have the special guest star in this film of Wendy Williams, who is the lead singer of the punk band The Plasmatics. And you would also have seen her in a role in the 80s women in prison film Reform School Girls, which I will probably look at in the future at some point on this YouTube page. So let's get into this film, Candy Goes to Hollywood, 1979. Carol Connors, this is another female-fronted outing. The mysterious Gail Palmer, who produced, directed, and wrote this film. In Candy Goes to Hollywood, we really see some kind of I don't know, definitely some connections with the softcore film Alice Goodbody, which is released by Code Red on DVD, where essentially we have a film where, obviously from the title, she's going to Hollywood, and we have a film where Hollywood is the person, the presence from a group of people that is pulling her in and pulling the innocent Candy Christian in and using her and abusing her. Definitely some Hollywood satire here, which I find to be very, very interesting in light of the fact that this is an adult film. And, so I've seen this, where you have the adult film industry really against Hollywood and kind of playing off of the abuse of Hollywood and the kind of using of people sexually in Hollywood. I mean, it's very, very interesting because the typical stereotype of X-rated films is that those are the people that are being abused and taken advantage of, and the Hollywood people, Hollywood knows how to take care of people. So very, very interesting to have satire on the conglomerate god of movies, Hollywood, as we have the underground outcast, at some points illegal, X-rated adult system here, and Candy Goes to Hollywood, and there is a lot of kind of commentary on Hollywood in this film. Fun, definitely fun. If it had a slightly darker tone, this could be a pretty dark film, given the subject matter and what happens. We have the adventures of Candy Christian as she makes her way into being a Hollywood star. Now, I don't think she necessarily wanted to be a Hollywood star, but of course, Hollywood, that presence, sucks her in. And the first film, The Erotic Adventures of Candy, she's innocent, kind of dumb Candy is being sucked in by the world, sucked in by the people around her and different leaders and family members and so on and so forth. In this film, it's Hollywood. We have an agent played by John Leslie, who was her gynecologist in Erotic Adventures of Candy. So he, throughout this whole film, does an excellent acting job in this film. Riffs on existing things like The Gong Show, and here we have The Dong Show. We have a lot of riffs on things. Even a character who's playing Johnny Farson, I believe, instead of Johnny Carson. He has kind of artificially dyed white hair, but he's younger or something. We have a lot of riffs on existing realities, from television shows to Hollywood movies and stars. If you look very closely, you could even see pictures in the background of Jack Nicholson and things like that. We have real riffs on directors, and we even have a hitchhiker pickup in this film. Other starlets throughout the film, Hypnosis plays a big role in the movie as well. Um, Hypnosis, yes, and a wild Hollywood party. What are the Hollywood parties like? Are they wild? And this film kind of shows you another side of that in its own interpretation. Now, in terms of the music of Candy Goes to Hollywood, the first film just had great music, obviously representative to each particular sex scene, different music for each sex scene, different nationalities, things like that. In this particular film, we start things rolling with another theme song, and this theme song is shockingly similar to the Saturday Night Fever Bee Gees song, Staying Alive. And I don't know, I mean, you can evade copyright by just changing, a musical notes just a bit. I think nowadays this song would be, excuse me, destroyed by copyright holders. But maybe back then it was a lot looser. But it's definitely inspired by "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees. And even as she's walking in the opening credits, it really brings to mind John Travolta. And kind of riffing on that in a way. And Carol Connors, I loved her in Erotic Adventures of Candy. In this film, I love her even more. In this film, her presence is that much more amazing. Still the same character, still acting innocent and vulnerable and naive and just unaware of the definitions of reality and of sex, even though she has desires. She's not quick to blame anybody. She's always quick to think the best of everybody. And of course, Hollywood loves that. Directors love that, so on and so forth. So we have also disco in this movie, which the theme song definitely plays off disco. Jazz, light funk. We also have some kind of like psychedelic rock in here as well. I think I remember hearing some psychedelic rock, a show tune song that is sung by Carol Connors herself. I believe it's actually her real voice. And so we really have some wild stuff here. I have some notes below, so you might see my eyes divert a little bit. In terms of the style of the film, Gail Palmer definitely has her own style for making these films, and I can't wait to see more of her stuff. And but we have some words written on the screen at a certain point in this film, so definitely kind of playing off of that, kind of a you're definitely watching a movie style, okay? And the opening lion roar, okay, which is copyrighted from, I think it's either MGM or when the lion roars when you push play on a movie, depending on the company. We have Carol Connors roaring as the lion. I mean, that's just, as soon as you see that, you're getting into a wild adventure, a wild ride. As I said previously, this film is filled with satire of existing realities within Hollywood and TV shows and actors and actresses. And this movie really feels like a wild late night party. It does. You push play on this thing, and for the next, 90 minutes, about 90 minutes, between 80 and 90 minutes, you are experiencing a late night party. If you lead a boring life, if you lead a dull life, you don't do much. When you're not working, you feel like, I'm just gonna stay home and watch a movie. You can truly experience a party with Candy Goes to Hollywood. I felt, by the end of the movie, I felt good tired, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, if you had like a big night of a huge party and it was just the best party you've ever been to, and then at the end of the night you're exhausted but you feel good, and you have the TV on for a little bit and you're eating some food before you officially go to sleep, eating more than you should, before you go to sleep. This is really a wild late night party. Now, sexually speaking, this being an X-rated film, I will tell you, so far, this movie has one of the best wild, long party orgies I've ever seen in cinema. Just my personal opinion. It could change by watching other films, but this is definitely one of the best, if not the best. It's at the end of the film. It could be about 10 to almost 15 minutes, possibly. I'm not sure. It was so awesome. It was so wild, and it was a party. It was an actual Hollywood party, a representation of a Hollywood party, and there's some twists that happen there. But it was so sexy, so insane, but not too insane, if you catch my drift. Keep your eyes peeled. You might see somebody from Pretty Peaches Part 1. Yep. And some other people that are known. We have Miss Nude America in this one. We have a woman that was the Farrah Fawcett of X-rated films. She's in the kind of the orgy scene at the end. Just a wild orgy scene. And it's not like everybody's together. It's just everybody's having sex in the same room type of deal. We also have lesbian sex in the film. We have drugging and hypnosis involved in sexual activity, which definitely goes a bit further than part one, Erotic Adventures of Candy. So, like I said, I mean, it could thematically, it could seem a little bit dark, but the whole film is comical and light and airy. Yet, story-wise, if you just read it on paper, you'd be like, this is getting pretty dark here. Drugging and hypnosis. We have oral sex, heterosexual. This film definitely, as opposed to the first one, has a lot of butt shots. If you love butts, you're going to love this movie. Even a great butt shot of Carol Connors in the film. She bends over for Johnny Farson. We have some a boob job in the film. I don't mean plastic boobs. I mean involving a penis. Basically people wanting to be famous and entering in sexually from that. We also have another girl in here, and I believe she was also in Pretty Peaches 1. A blonde girl, and I don't know her name, but I feel like I saw her in Pretty Peaches 1 as well. So keep a lookout for her with John Leslie, the agent. There's some great acting and dialogue in this film. It's an adventure, it's a story. There's, just some great characters along the way and kind of a funny twist at the end, and the movie kind of ends very stylistically, like deep or emotional or something. Very interesting ending to Candy Goes to Hollywood. It was very interesting, but before that there's like kind of a comical twist and turn in it, and you are with the agent throughout the film, and the situations that the agent gets her into are quite creative and abusive, actually. So obviously this is not a politically correct film. Probably not a film that would be released today without, it's just, this was a different time, okay? But being in the underground, in the adult film circuit, it probably could be released, So this is it, folks. This is 1979's Candy Goes to Hollywood. Awesome movie. I heard rumors that they made a third one, Candy Goes to Washington, or that they were going to, but didn't see it. At the end of this movie, though, Gail Palmer, again, introduces you to some other films that are coming up in her repertoire. So she was quite the X-rated Lloyd Kaufman in self-promotion. And she also makes a couple cameos in here as well. I believe it more than one, so look out for it, but at least at a diner. So thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like Candy Goes to Hollywood from 1979. Thank you, Gail Palmer. Thank you, Vinegar Syndrome. This is part of the Vinegar Syndrome double feature Blu-ray. This is the reversible cover. So you can get that. You can also get it on DVD if you don't want the Blu-ray. Get the Blu-ray. Negative, definitely. Thank you so much, and have a good night.